Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Peter Christian. I'm here with the host of the show, Diane Beck, with Windermere Real Estate. Diane has been helping buyers and sellers with real estate in the Missoula area for over 20 years and is very active in the Missoula community. Along with their trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on NewsTalkKGBO.com. 98.3 FM and 1290 AM. Oh, we never have any fun on this show. Welcome, everybody. It's Missoula Real Estate Today. I'm Peter Christian. Drew Mihelish is joining us right now. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Peter.
From Western Montana Lighting. And once a year we have to visit.
Yeah.
So... And I was just remarking that it's really nice that neither of us are getting a year older when that happens.
Right.
So I'm working on that. I don't know about you. But now, for those who don't know, if you haven't been in Missoula for a long time, old-timers know Western Montana Lighting has been around, as long as most people have, right?
Yeah. We've been around since 1917, over 100 years at this point.
Yes, and that's even older than me. So
there you go.
That's saying something. All right. So tell us a little bit about your store. And because like we say, we have new listeners every week, and they're always looking for great deals, and they're always looking for quality merchandise. So this is one of the reasons why we have this part of Missoula Real Estate today. So tell us about Western Montana Lighting.
Well, so Western Montana Lighting obviously sells lighting. That is what we specialize in. But we are much more than that. We also provide home decor and specialty furniture, candles, really anything. We're coming up on Christmas season, and we're going to have some Christmas decor out as well.
The thing I also like about Western Montana Lighting is it isn't a place where you just come in. You can come in and buy a light bulb if you want to, but you guys know your product so well that when people come in and say, you know what, I moved into a house that was just kind of a tract house thing, and everything's the same, and we're the same as all of our neighbors, and we just want to change, but we have no idea how to do it, right? So right. Your team is specially trained to do that.
Yeah, we are fully staffed with lighting specialists. They're certified, and that's what we really love to do, is be able to go into someone's home on a walkthrough or have people come into the store and provide us with somewhat of an idea, and then we can hopefully guide them to a direction of obviously lighting their home correctly, but also making it have the look that they're after.
Now, let's walk through that, because we have a half an hour to visit here, so we can stretch out a little bit.
Okay.
So I come in and see you and say, you know what, Drew, I bought this house. I got a great deal on it, but it's not exactly the way I want it to look. And so where do I start with you? Do I sit down with you? Do I bring the house plans? Or do I invite you or one of your staff to come up and look at it with me? Or how does that work?
It can work both ways. Typically on a remodel, you're going to want to go and visit the job site. The reason for that is many people know with remodels, there's lots of different surprises.
Surprise!
Yeah. So it's important for us to be able to do that. And typically in a remodel, they may not have a floor plan with them. So we do offer that service of us going to a job site, looking at what they're dealing with. But why we have them in the showroom, we love for them to just give us an overall sense of the style that they're after, what catches their attention in the showroom.
And that's really important, because having a showroom where you can look and touch and feel and see from all sorts of different angles and look and try with different bulbs and things like that, that you can't do when you're shopping online. The nice thing is, going into Western Montana Lighting, you can spend as much time as you want to find what you really want, right?
Exactly. And I think that's really important, is knowing that there's so many different versions of oil rub bronze per se. Like, people can come in and we can say, well, do you like this style? Do you like this look? And then they may not like that finish. But we're able, because we've gone to market, to communicate whether or not that finish is going to have more of a black undertone to it, or if it's going to have more of a red undertone. And then that can help them figure out how to pair their different lights.
And that brings to mind, why does the right lighting matter in a home? So most guys, turn the light on, it works. Okay, like hello. But there are all sorts of different things to consider when it comes to lighting.
Well, functionality is one important aspect of it. But light does affect your health. And I think it's really important for people to pay attention to that. People that have noticed when they've had professional lighting consultants come in and work with their home have said that it's really noticeable the change when they see how lighting the room correctly can affect their overall mood. And obviously that affects your health.
And as we're going into winter, I mean, the summertime is so glorious in Montana. Everybody wants to be out doing things and all that sort of thing. But when fall and winter comes in, and you're in your house for extended periods of time, anything you can do to make sure that that's a much more pleasant place to be, you want to go ahead and do it, and you can do that with lighting.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can do layered lighting, making sure, again, that goes back to the functionality aspect of it. Because in the winter months, it does get darker. So that's important, but it's also, some people like it to be a little bit more intimate in those winter months and cozy up next to the fireplace.
Sure.
And so we're able to accomplish that as well, just based off of Kelvin temperatures with LED bulbs. Some people like a little bit more of the blue tone, maybe in a contemporary house, whereas others will like something that's more reflective of an incandescent bulb.
Explain the difference for me, because I'm a layman. You're an expert in this, so bring it down to my level where I could say, okay, so why is this light better for this instance as that light is for this instance?
Well, and it really doesn't come down to better. It comes down to personal preference.
Okay.
So some people prefer to have a little bit more of an amber light. So we have options that even have an amber glass on them, so it makes it even more of an orange tone. Other people really like what incandescent bulbs look like, and so they want to continue that. Then there's other individuals that really like to see more of a bright light that reflects true daylight, and so that's when we can get into the higher Kelvin temperatures, which is just simply a change in like the color hue that you see. So it can, there's a large spectrum where you can see it from a yellow tone all the way to a blue tone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I will bet most people walk into the convenience store, grab a pack of light bulbs, look for the cheapest one, and say, just plug it in and hope for the best, right?
Yep.
And so why is that? Why is that not the right thing to do, especially if you care about your surroundings?
Well, because it renders everything in your room differently. So depending on like the fabric or your cabinetry, all of those different things, they're going to look much different under, and I keep saying Kelvin temperature, but say a blue light that's 4,000 Kelvin, okay? That's going to look extremely different compared to that same room lit with 2,700 Kelvin. Which is going to have more of that incandescent look. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to accomplish more of those warm tones and you have wood cabinetry, it's going to look pretty strange when you're putting in 4,000 Kelvin light bulbs. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm wondering especially when someone's building a new house, that's really the time to come and see you, right?
Absolutely.
Because that way you have the whole, if you will, the whole palette or the whole canvas to work with, because you have a palette of light to help that home be something much more livable.
Exactly. And it's also important for us to get involved with the electrician and the builder up front with the homeowner, because it allows for us to possibly come up with ideas that may alter what they were originally planning on doing with the electrical. So we love to be able to meet with homeowners when the drawings have been done and set and they're still, framing the home.
Right. And that is so much easier to do it that way than try to retrofit after something has already been done for somebody else. And then you're coming in and trying to make it your own. Right.
And that's usually when you can still see that we try our best to make it look like it's not an afterthought. But if we can get ahead of the ball, then we're in good shape.
So let's talk about the various rooms in our home. Obviously, the kitchen is the heart of the home, right?
Yep.
And so tell me about lighting a kitchen, because the problem with kitchens is you have all these cabinets and the counters, and it's dark under there, and it's kitchen ceilings can tend to be higher sometimes, and you want to make sure you get the light in the right place. A kitchen is a difficult thing to light, right?
Well, personally, I don't think it's difficult to light, but
to do it right.
To do it right, yes. And I think that's one of my favorite places, including the dining room and living room. to light up because there's so many different aspects of it. First, you want it to have an aesthetic. So you want to provide your own personal touch. And that's typically what you can do with decorative lighting. And then you also need to consider putting recessed lights in just to give an overall some task lighting.
Well, that's better for safety too, right?
Right.
Yeah, because if you've got a cabinet that's puts a shadow on your countertop and you tried to cut bread or whatever, things can happen.
Right. So, and that's where we can come into play, where we're able to actually work with your electrician to put it in the right location, so that you don't have those shadow issues. The other thing to consider is layered lighting, and accent lighting. So you can really think of under cabinet lighting and upper cabinet lighting as both of those things. It works for the ability when you're by the counter to not chop your finger off when you're cutting the carrots.
That's not a good thing.
And
we want to avoid that at all costs.
Right. But it also works as, if you just simply want to have those lights on during the evening, just to add a little bit of a wow factor when you maybe have guests over. So.
Well, even a humble kitchen really can look spectacular if it's lit right. Right. So yeah, so that's something to think about rather than spending $30,000 to remodel your kitchen. Why not think about some of the smaller things that will enhance what you already have?
Well, and the fun thing about under cabinet and upper cabinet lighting is with LED, the pricing has just significantly dropped. It continues to. While the technology continues to get better. And what I would say is it's a no-brainer to put in upper and lower cabinet lighting, and it really makes a difference for your home.
Now, by the way, we're talking with Drew Mihelish from Western Montana Lighting. You keep saying that. And when someone has a kitchen that's already there and they want to provide some of the things, but there's no place to wire these things and plug them in. How do you go about retrofitting something like that?
Well, with under cabinet tape light, let's say, those are really simple. As long as you have an outlet or some source of power, you're able to typically stub out a wire, and then you can work with the electrician. And then basically what you need to find is just a location to hide your driver, which is pretty small in size. I mean, they're all different in size, but some of them are, let me say, maybe 3 inches by 2. I mean, they're really small.
Less than the size of a cigarette pack, right?
Yeah, basically the same size as that.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so once that's done, then it opens up a whole new world of being able to get your lighting where you want it.
Exactly.
So, and that's something you guys do.
Yep.
All right. So what does it take when you come into our house? Can you show us how that's done? And let me ask you this: do you have access to electricians that can help us get this done?
We have a lot of good relationships with electricians in town, so we can always help you determine that. A lot of times, most of the people come in and already have a relationship with an electrician, but we're more than happy to provide names of electricians that we've done a lot of business with in the past.
Sure. So,
to answer the other question, though, I would say that it's in their benefit to come on site to Western Montana Lighting, because we do have a room that does have the ability to show all the different versions of our, well, not all, but a lot of the options of how to light under cabinet or upper cabinet.
I have seen that, and it is really fascinating because you walk in there and you go, whoa, and I'll bet that happens a lot when you slide that thing up and you go, man, I had no idea there was so much that's available to make my kitchen a place I want to spend more time in.
Right, and then you're able to walk the homeowner through the process so you can show them where the wire would stick out, how it's going to look underneath their cabinet, why they should use this product over this product. So it's pretty nice to come. That's another reason to come into the showroom, is because then you're able to physically see it. Sure.
So let's talk about some of the other rooms in the home. Obviously, you mentioned the dining room and the living room are also areas where you can be a little artistic with lighting.
Right. It just comes down to layered lighting. When you're in the dining room, there can be wall sconces, there can be floor table or floor lamps. There can be a chandelier over the dining table. There could be recessed lighting. You could have a troffer ceiling, so you could have cove lighting. There's just a lot of different elements that play into the architecture of the home. And then if you can light that correctly, it just exemplifies the work of the architect.
How difficult is it when you go into a home that's already there and they have the standard light fixtures stuck to the ceiling and you want to have the recessed lighting? Is that difficult to change? I realize there's some construction things going on there, and maybe it's things that an electrician would have to do for you. So, but is that difficult to do?
Yeah, so not really actually at this point. Again, it's depends on the situation, and every situation is different, we see with remodels, but they do have so many options now that if you can feed power, then we have retrofit recessed cans that allow for you to cut directly into the drywall and then do a plug and play, which you don't necessarily have to have. A lot of the old recessed housing units were large. So, and when I mean large, they were taking up about a foot up above the drywall.
Right.
Now we have these options that are no more than 3 inches into the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's pretty refreshing.
All right. So again, that is, it's not difficult to do, but it is something that requires an expert that knows what they're doing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So looking in the mirror, I'm not seeing a handyman. So
well, and that's what we're here for, and we're
Right.
here to help. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the bedrooms. Or let's start the bathroom. You walk into the bathroom. Obviously, bathrooms are for certain things, for bathing, showering, things like that. What about lighting that?
I mean, those places again need to be lit efficiently because typically that's where you're putting your makeup on. It's where you're shaving your face. So it's important in those locations that you have it lit well, but it also then comes down to their personal preference. So
some bathroom lighting can be so harsh that you don't want to even go in there to put your makeup on or shave or whatever.
Right. And so that's where they come into the showroom and work with us to see what's appealing to them. And again, we get into layered lighting where we have some overhead lighting, potentially sconces or a vanity light. They may have some decorative lighting depending on how large their master bath is or any of those things. But
okay. Now, is it more difficult to light a bathroom because of the water and the electricity and the dangers there?
Not at all. Those are really simple that, like in the shower, you just need to make sure that it's wet rated for a recessed can or even a surface mount. And there's plenty of options that we have access to, and we can make sure we get you taken care of.
And again, that's the advantage of going in and talking with you personally, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to the bedrooms. Obviously, bedrooms, where you sleep, but it's also where you read. There's also where, it's a place for families to gather sometimes. So what do we do?
So in those locations, it's just really dependent on, again, the person or the people. Usually in master bedrooms, I always say that it's best to have a fan if you don't have heating and cooling in your home. And some of the older homes don't have that because people sleep hot. So
right.
That's a good thing to consider. But a lot of people aren't liking the fan and light kit combo. And that's just simply because the light output from those combinations don't typically produce that much light if they're wanting a lot of light in that space. So if that's their only option.
So the lighting is almost an add-on to the fan.
Right.
Right. Okay.
But if that's their only option, there's other ways to work with that. We can introduce floor lamps. We can introduce table lamps. If there's a potential for us to also introduce remodel cans or in a new build, what I always consider is having a fan in those locations, but then also accompanying it with recessed lighting in the corners so that it lights up the space correctly.
Cool. All right. So this is why I love talking to Drew. She's so smart with this stuff. Now, I want to talk to you specifically. No, seriously. I want to talk specifically about the difference between coming in and visiting with you and your staff as opposed to going online to the screen and you get that one-dimensional picture or whatever, and you just don't. I hate to use the phrase. You don't know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? It's like a box of chocolates. So
yeah. Okay, Forrest Gump.
so tell me why it's so much better to come to you.
I mean, I could just speak until I was blue in the face about this, and I know my staff.
We got 10 minutes, so go ahead. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is when you walk into Western Montana Lighting, you're working with people that have been doing this for multiple years. So they're very knowledgeable about it, and they've also gone to market. Market is something that happens basically every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
We know the product that's out there. We're able to tell you whether or not, like I was saying earlier, oh, that's going to render a little bit more of a red tone. And you said that your, knobs for your house are more of an iron finish. So let's scoot more towards like the black or a nickel.
And I will tell you that you will not find somebody online to ask you those questions, right? So when you get your stuff, you go, oh, this isn't what I wanted. And so, but we can avoid that by coming to you.
Exactly. Or even the simple things as having a home that has vaulted ceilings and your kitchen island may partially be on a flat ceiling and then go into a vaulted location. That's where we're able to go, okay, let's pump the brakes. Let's think about this. What are the type of pendants that are needed in this application so that they're all going to hang level? Those things come into play at a lot more than people would even like to imagine. And we're able to make sure that the mistake doesn't get made up front. The other thing is I think there's a true misconception of price.
Mm-hmm.
Western Montana Lighting is very price competitive with online retailers. Not only are we able to price match it as long as it's within the industry standard,
sure.
Of course,
right.
Which those are in place. But if that's what is going on, then we have the ability to price match that, number one. Usually we already are beating that price. And so it's a no-brainer to come get the knowledge from my staff and pay the same price that you'd be paying online. We also provide walkthroughs, so we can do that. And then the other thing to think about is we label everything. So say it's a job for Builder X and Homeowner Smith. So we've got Builder X, Homeowner Smith. Everything is labeled. It says that it belongs in the entry. The bulbs are included. It shows you what belongs there.
Wow.
So it makes things a lot more simple for the builder, homeowner, and the electrician. There's no guessing games. Whereas if you're buying online, things are coming from, FedEx, they're coming from all different locations and you don't even know how to organize it.
Yeah.
And that takes up a lot of time, which ultimately affects the bottom line of the project.
Well, people think, I think when they order online, think, hey, I'm hip, I'm cool, I'm happening, right? I ordered this online, and then you go, oh, well, I don't know how to install it, and it's the wrong color, and I don't like where it's at, but with you, not only can you come over and look at our house and help us choose the right things and the right colors and shades, but you can help us to find an installer that will fit us and help us, right?
Correct. And the other thing to even consider is just as simple as broken glass. If you have a piece of broken glass on a job site, we fix that for free. You're not going to get that kind of customer service.
Would you mind saying that again?
You get that for free. But you do. And we're willing to help our customers and our builders because we want people to understand, the customer service level is there. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to see that.
Let's talk for a second about the concept of customer service from Western Montana Lighting. I know that the folks who owned it before you were big into customer service, as are you. And that's, from what I remember, one of our conversations, that's one of the reasons you really wanted to buy this store.
Yes.
Was because of the amazing reputation of customer service and quality, right?
And it still seems...
So you didn't have to start from scratch.
I didn't have to start from scratch, and that was amazing. But it also allowed, I meet with my staff. We talk about different ways that we can continue to grow that. And one thing that I love is when I walk into my store and I have 5 messages and 3 of them are telling me about someone at Western Montana Lighting that went above and beyond for them. And they're usually ecstatic on the phone. And to me, that just warms my heart because I'm like, yes, we're doing it. And I am just so proud of my staff for doing things like that.
Sure. Now, you also have a big sale coming up, right?
We actually already had the sale.
Oh, you had the sale. Oh, darn it. Okay. So, but as we head into the holidays, what can we expect when we walk in? Will there be special displays, holiday things like that?
Yep. So we are going into the Christmas season, and so we have a lot of fun holiday decor. We already received it last week, and so I can't wait to put it out. We'll be putting it out on Black Friday.
Can you give us a hint?
One thing that I would say is we were responsible for lighting the National Christmas tree last year.
Seriously?
And
I didn't know that.
Really?
How wonderful.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. So we actually have custom tree toppers that are replicas of the star that was created to go on top of on top of the Christmas tree.
Well, can you describe that? What does it look like?
It's made of copper, and it's a star. It's beautiful. And so we have a few of them in store. So that's kind of our little premiere piece that we're putting out this year.
Wow. Now, do they come in various sizes, obviously?
Just one size.
Just one size.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And where are they made? Do you guys make them yourself or what?
No, they were actually fabricated in Bozeman from a gentleman by the name of Brad from Split Metals.
So they're Montana made.
Yeah, they're Montana made with copper. So
right.
Pretty proud moment.
So let's spend the last few minutes. We have actually 4 minutes left in our program. So are there some things we haven't covered yet that you really want to let folks know about Western Montana Lighting?
We sell bulbs. I think a lot of people don't know or remember, when they buy their lighting from us, that they can actually come to us simply to get a bulb. And if they have questions around LED or just trying to figure out how to light a room correctly, come in. We're there to help, and we want to help you guys because we want you to have a good experience.
And there are still people that don't understand the difference between incandescent and LED, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
So we're more than happy to walk them through all those different things and show them the benefits of what LED can do. Incandescent bulbs aren't really, a 100-watt incandescent bulb doesn't exist anymore.
Right. But so the LED light is different how than incandescent light?
It's simply just ran off of it's electronic. So there's a diode, which is simply a small little rock that emits light. And so it's using a lot less energy. And
do those bulbs really last longer?
They do. The reason that they last so much longer is because they aren't heating up as quickly. And once a diode starts emitting light, it truly never stops emitting light. It just continues to dim. So that is one thing that's pretty interesting about LED. And they are rated to last roughly 25,000 to 30,000 hours.
Wow.
Which in a home application can typically, range from 10 to 20 years.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so we're getting to the point of the program where I always ask our guests, when you get up in the morning and your feet hit the floor, give me the reasons why you can't wait to get to work.
Well, it sounds so cliche, but I just love what I do. I love interacting with people. I like making their lives better, and I love making homes beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little about your staff. How many folks do you have, and what do they do?
Well, I have an amazing staff. I have a gentleman that's been there for over 38. He's nearing 40 years. He started when he was 18 years old, and he's a rock star. I've got a few more individuals that have been there for over 25 years, and they're extremely talented as well. This is all within my sales staff. And then I brought on some new individuals that are just so talented and very customer service oriented. We're
running out of time, believe it or not. So I need to get some basics: a location, phone number, website, things like that.
Okay.
Hours of operation.
Okay. So we are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5:30, and then on Saturday from 10 to 4. We're located at 3250 South Reserve in Missoula, Montana, which is across the street from Larchmont Golf Course.
Right under us.
Yes. You haven't been bowling lately.
No.
And our phone number is 406-543-7166. And you can visit our website at wmldesigns.com.
That's going to do it for Missoula Real Estate Today. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for tuning into Missoula Real Estate Today. We hope you found the information over the last 30 minutes to be helpful. If you have any suggested topics for future Missoula Real Estate Today programs, or any questions about buying or selling real estate, please email Diane. Here's the address. It's dianebeck@realtor.com. That's dianebeck@realtor.com. We'll see you next week on News Talk KGBO.com, 98.3 FM and 1290 AM.